Dear students, in this session we will get familiar to the use of transient temperature charts or Heisler charts. Lumped system analysis assumes negligible internal thermal resistance. That means there is no temperature gradient within the solid element. But in many situations, temperature gradients within the solids are not negligible. In such situations, lumped system analysis cannot be applied. In order to analyze these conduction heat problems, determination of temperature distribution within the solid as function of both time and position is important. So we can use transient temperature charts or Heisler charts for solving such problems. We need to understand the nomenclature used for one dimensional solids which are suddenly exposed to convection at T infinity, so that we can understand the use of transient temperature charts completely. For the first case of an infinite plate of thickness 2L, the half the thickness is taken as L. There is a central line about which the plate is symmetric on either side. X is the direction from the center line, and T naught is the center line temperature, or it's also called as mid plane temperature for infinite plate of thickness 2L. For a cylinder which is extending to a large value of length on either end, which is of radius r naught, T naught is termed as center line temperature or axis temperature. In the first case, it is termed as mid plane temperature or center line temperature. Now it is axis for a cylinder, axis temperature or center line temperature. For a sphere of radius r naught, it's only center temperature. There cannot be any line for a sphere, so it is the exact center temperature of the sphere which is considered as T naught here. R naught is the outer radius. We'll try to understand transient temperature charts for the case of a slab. Consider a slab of total thickness 2L, which is confined in the region minus L to L. Since there is a center line temperature at x is equal to 0, that is confined within the region minus L to L. The solid is at an initial temperature of Ti at time t is equal to 0, but for time, suddenly at time t is equal to 0, both the surfaces of the slab are subjected to convection, which with the heat transfer coefficient of H and the fluid temperature of T infinity, and it is maintained for all the times greater than T greater than 0. And we can apply the boundary conditions in the at surface x is equal to a minus L and at x is equal to L, and write the equations. That is at x is equal to minus L, k del t divided by del x is equal to h into t minus t infinity. Similarly, at x is equal to L, minus k into del t divided by del x is equal to h into t minus t infinity. These are the boundary conditions for time t greater than 0. However, this problem looks symmetrical both about the center line and also when it comes to the thermal conditions. That means both the surfaces are exposed to the same convective conditions. Because of this, we can simplify this problem into only half of the problem, which is about the symmetry. You can take only the right half within the region x is equal to 0 to x is equal to L. In that case, we can consider the center line temperature as del T divided by del x is equal to 0. That is, there is no temperature gradient at the center line, and it is on the other side, that is at x is equal to L, the given boundary condition is considered. Mathematical formulation of this heat conduction problem. Let us recall general heat conduction equation from which for one dimensional unsteady state heat transfer without internal heat generation, this is the differential equation of temperature distribution, that is dou square T divided by dou x square is equal to 1 by alpha dou T divided by dou T, where capital T is temperature, small t is time, alpha is thermal diffusivity, and this equation is applicable within the region including the regions x is equal to 0 and x is equal to L. This is applicable for all times greater than 0. At x is equal to 0, for all times greater than 0, the temperature gradient at the center line is 0. At x is equal to L, the conduction heat transfer is equal to convection heat transfer, because of which we have minus k del T divided by dou x is equal to h into T minus T infinity, which can be rewritten as k into dou T divided by dou x plus h into T minus T infinity is equal to 0. This is for all times greater than 0. T is equal to Ti, that is the initial temperature, that is at time T is equal to 0. This is valid for the complete solid. Now, by using the dimensionless equations, replacing some of the terms by dimensional equations, that is theta is a dimensionless temperature written as Txt minus T infinity divided by Ti minus T infinity, where Txt is the temperature of the solid at any given position x at any given time t. Ti is the initial temperature, T infinity is the fluid temperature. Capital X, which is dimensionless coordinate, can be taken as small x divided by L. That means it represents any dimension value or any plane which is at a distance from the center line, which is dimensionless. X is the distance from the center line and L is the total semi thickness of the plate. And Biot number is a dimensionless number which is given by HL by K. L is the semi thickness, and tau, which is Fourier number, is given by alpha into T divided by L square. T is any given time. The purpose of using dimensionless quantities is this. You can see temperature was function of different parameters like x position, T time, L thickness, K thermal conductivity, alpha thermal diffusivity, H heat transfer coefficient, initial temperature Ti, fluid temperature T infinity. But after reducing this differential equations and the boundary conditions formulated using dimensionless numbers or terms, we can have these expressions in which temperature, dimensionless temperature theta, is a function of only three parameters, that is capital X, Biot number and tau. This is the use of dimensionless equations or dimensionless numbers. So if you just go through the equations clearly, now d square theta divided by dx square is equal to now d theta dou theta divided by dou tau, and this equation is now valid between capital X ranges from 0 to 1 for all times tau greater than. Now look at the T is replaced by tau and small x is replaced by x, and the corresponding values are changed because at small x is equal to 0, capital X also will be equal to 0, but when small x is equal to L, capital X will be equal to 1, that is x by L is equal to L by L is equal to 1. Similarly, for the second condition, that is boundary condition at x is equal to 0, dou t divided by dou x is equal to 0 becomes dou t divided by dou capital X is equal to 0 for all times t greater than 0. Similarly, the next boundary condition is reduced to dou t divided by dou x plus Biot number into t theta is equal to 0 at the other surface x capital X is equal to 1, and the last initial condition becomes theta is equal to 1 because t becomes equal to ti. So in such cases the differential equation both numerator and denominator in theta becomes the same, so theta will be equal to 1, and this is the initial condition at time t is equal to 0, and this is applicable for the whole solid. For each case of a solid, like for example slab or an infinite cylinder or a sphere, we are going to see the combination of three different charts. One is for central line temperature or midline temperature or central temperature. The other one is for temperature at any given position as a function of midplane temperature, and the next one is for dimensionless heat loss. And in the use of temperature charts, we have Biot number to be taken as HL by K. L is the thickness by 2, that is 2L is the thickness and L is half the thickness, and Fourier number is alpha T divided by L square, and this is valid for a slab. Similarly, Biot number and Fourier number will change slightly for different solids. We'll look into these charts one by one and understand how this can be used for the problem solving. The first graph or chart for slabs gives you the mid-plane temperature or the central line temperature at any given time t. So using t and geometrical and thermal properties, we can find out Fourier number, because Fourier number is given by alpha T divided by L square. L square is the half the thickness of the slab, and the y coordinate is theta naught by theta I, which is theta naught is T naught minus T infinity, where T naught is the center line temperature, and theta I is Ti minus T infinity, where Ti is the initial temperature of the slab, T infinity is the ambient fluid temperature. For this case, x coordinate is Fourier number. It is given from 0 to 700, and for dimensionless temperatures will always vary from 0 to 1, that is in the y coordinate. The different curves drawn here are for different values of K by HL, which is nothing but 1 by Biot number. For given the value of time and Biot number, you can find out the corresponding value of the ratio of theta naught by theta I, that is dimensionless temperature, from which we can find out T naught after calculations, because Ti and T infinity will be given. On the other hand, given the center line temperature after certain time, and if you want to calculate the time taken to reach the temperature, by using this theta naught divided by theta I calculated and given Biot number value, that is 1 by Bi, to be used, you can find out the corresponding Fourier number value, that is the x coordinate, and that can be used to Fourier number can be used to find out the time taken to reach the center line temperature, the given center line temperature. The next chart to be used in this case is the temperature as function of mid plane or centerline temperature for infinite case, infinite plate of thickness 2L. Here we are going to find out the temperature in the solid slab at a distance from the center line or the mid plane. Let us say if x is equal to L by 2, that is L is the semi thickness, and if you want to find out the temperature of the slab at a distance of x is equal to L by 2, then you have to use x by L as L by 2 divided by L, which is equal to 0.5. So in the graph it is not available for 0.5, but you have to interpolate a curve to get the values of corresponding theta by theta naught. So the theta by theta naught, which is on the y-axis, is actually the ratio of t minus t infinity and t naught minus t infinity. Remember, the denominator of this factor, that is dimensionless temperature in this case, is T naught minus T infinity. T naught is the mid plane temperature, which we can find out in the from the previous chart. In the previous chart, the denominator of dimensionless temperature is Ti minus T infinity, where Ti is the initial temperature of the slab. But here in this case, T naught is nothing but the mid plane temperature. So for any distance, for any value of x, the corresponding value of x by L to be found out, and given the value of Biot number or calculated value of Biot number and then 1 by Biot number, which is in the x coordinate, you can find the corresponding value of theta by theta naught, and then you can find out T, which is the function of center temperature. Dimensionless heat loss Q by Q naught for an infinite plate of thickness 2L with time is another chart that will be used to find out what is the actual heat loss by the body in time tau. So Q by Q naught gives you the dimensionless heat loss during the process after a given time t. Q naught represents the energy content of the body initially. So the initial temperature is Ti and the ambient fluid temperature Ti. By using mCp dt for this case, Q naught will be equal to rho Cp V into Ti minus T infinity, which can also be written as rho Cp V into theta I. But for the case of a slab, this volume is equal to thickness multiplied by the surface area on one side. So V is equal to 2LA. Substituting that in the equation for Q naught, we get rho Cp into 2L into A into theta I. Theta I is Ti minus T infinity. If you want to know what is Q naught by A, then we can have rho Cp into 2L into theta I equation. Now if you look at the graph, the x coordinate is Fourier number multiplied by Biot number square. So you need to have the values of h, l and k for finding Biot number, and Fourier number you need thermal diffusivity alpha and tau and also the thickness L, that is half the thickness L. So now the different curves are drawn for values of Biot number starting from 0.001 to 50. Given the value of Biot number or for the calculated value of Biot number and Biot number square and Fourier number, you can find out the corresponding value in the y coordinate, that is for Q by Q naught. Once you find the dimensionless value for Q by Q naught, having Q naught calculated separately, you can use that to find out Q, which is the heat lost by the body during that time t. Similar curves or charts are available for infinite cylinders and also for spheres. I'm just going to highlight some of the important factors to be considered when going through the problems on infinite cylinder or long cylinder and spheres. To start with the first one, that is for axis temperature or centerline temperature for an infinite cylinder of radius r0. R0 is the outer radius of the cylinder, and for this case Biot number is h r0 by k. We shall not go back to that equation for Biot number as v by a again. It is directly to be taken as h r0 by k, where r0 is the radius of the cylinder. Similarly, Fourier number to be taken as alpha t divided by r0 square. So the characteristic dimension is r0 itself. In this case, the curves are drawn for different values of 1 by Biot number, just the way it was for mid-plane temperature for slab, and even the x coordinate is different values of Fourier number, sorry. And the centerline temperature dimensionless one can be found out from the y-axis. So if time is known, you can find out Fourier number, and having 1 by Biot number value and Fourier number, you can find out the corresponding value of theta naught by theta I. On the other hand, once you know centerline temperature, if the data for centerline temperature is given and you are expected to find out what is the time taken for reaching that centerline temperature, you can go with the value of theta naught by theta I and the Biot number and find out the corresponding value in the x coordinate, which gives you Fourier number. Since Fourier number is alpha t divided by r0 square, you can find the value of time taken to reach the centerline temperature. We can find out the temperature at any given radius for a cylinder. Consider r0 as the outer radius of a cylinder. You can find out the dimensionless distance r by r0. R is any radius, whereas r0 is the outer radius. If the surface temperature is to be considered, then you can use r is equal to r0. So then r by r0 will be equal to 1. And for that value, and if you have a known value or calculated value of Biot number and hence 1 by Biot number, you can find out the corresponding value of theta by theta naught. Having found out theta naught from the previous chart, you can find out the corresponding value of T, that is temperature at any radius r. For this case also, Biot number is h r0 by k and Fourier number is alpha t divided by r0 square. Anyhow, Fourier number is not using when you are using this chart, but Biot number is of some importance because it is needed in the x coordinate. 1 by Biot number is the x coordinate. Dimensionless heat loss for in an infinite cylinder of radius r0 with time. For cylinder of radius r0 and length L, volume is given by pi r0 square multiplied by L. That is the volume. Hence Q naught, which is the energy content at the initial state, is given by rho c into pi r0 square L into theta I. Most of the times for infinite cylinder, length will not be specified. Hence, it is expected to know what is the actual heat loss by the body per unit length. In such cases, we can use Q naught by L is equal to rho c into pi r0 square into theta I. So, the x and y coordinate remains the same as that of for a slab. So, the different curves are for h r0 by k, which is nothing but Biot number. The x coordinate is Biot number square multiplied by Fourier number, and you can get the value of Q by Q naught once you find out the value of Biot number and Fourier number. When it comes to sphere of radius R naught, the terminology that changes is the center temperature. Earlier for slabs it is called as midplane temperature or centerline temperature, whereas for cylinders it is T naught is axis temperature or centerline temperature. Now T naught is center temperature of the sphere, and the Biot number becomes h r naught by k, where r naught is the outer radius of the sphere, and the Fourier number is alpha t divided by r naught square. And you can find out theta naught by Ti, hence T naught can be found out. T naught is the center temperature of the sphere by using this chart. Dimensionless heat loss Q by Q naught for an infinite plate of thickness 2L with time is another chart that will be used to find out what is the actual heat loss by the body in time tau. So Q by Q naught gives you the dimensionless heat loss during the process after a given time t. Q naught represents the energy content of the body initially. So the initial temperature is Ti and the ambient fluid temperature Ti. By using mCp dt for this case, Q naught will, for a sphere of radius r naught, the volume is given by 4 by 3 pi r naught cube, since r naught is the outer radius. Because of that, Q naught, that is the initial energy content of the body, is equal to rho c multiplied by 4 by 3 pi r naught cube multiplied by theta I. In the next session, we will have some numerical problems based on the use of these transient temperature charts. Thank you.